Hey guys, it's Di, and I wanted to do a quick vlog tonight because the kids are all in bed and my husband is at a work event, so I had a little bit of a free moment, and I've been wanting to do a vlog on this for a while, but I guess I just haven't got around to it because we've been so busy, especially in the month of July. But I wanted to talk a little bit about becoming a stay-at-home mom, and for some people it may be a really big decision that you have to mull over quite a bit, and for some people it may be what you've always known you were going to do or you'd planned out since you got married or met your significant other, and it just was kind of a natural transition. So I've been a stay-at-home mom since I had Isabella 2 years ago, about 2.5 years ago now, and I kind of fell in the category of, in the back of my mind, I always kind of thought that if it was possible for me to stay at home, then, that's kind of what we had planned. We talked about it when we were dating and even when we were married without kids, and we kind of thought it would be nice because both of our mothers stayed at home with us when we were younger, that it would be great if I could stay at home with the kids as well. So basically the way that life took me, my husband and I got married, and we were married for a few years without children, and I owned my own business during that time and subsequently sold it when we moved from my husband's job. And then I started working on my master's and completed my master's and actually graduated 2 months after the market tanked in October 2008. So obviously it was not a good time to find a job, and I went back to teaching dance part-time for a little while, but at that point we were kind of at the point of figuring out what we were going to do long term, and that is when basically we had Isabella. So since then I've been a stay-at-home mom, and that's been my primary job, and I find that it's really nice to have some things on the side just for me that are projects that I can do, like these YouTube videos. I know it sounds silly because it's basically like an online diary, but I get a lot of enjoyment out of these because it's something that I do just for myself. It's almost kind of stress relief at times, and it's something where I can talk to people over comments. I feel like I'm getting grown-up feedback and that sort of thing, so it's kind of nice. And then other things that I do, I'm involved in different groups online. I was a moderator on a forum for a while, and I'm trying to think. Oh, I sell Scentsy. It's just something I do for fun on the side. So there's a lot of different opportunities out there that you can have that are flexible, so you can still be primarily a stay-at-home mom, but still have something for yourself, so you have some sort of like adult, more grown-up activity. Because obviously being at home, I think the biggest transition was actually being around a baby or babies all day long and not having that adult interaction. I was always very project oriented and goal oriented whenever I was in the working world, and so I really missed that adult interaction and that constant goal oriented kind of constant feedback and that sort of thing from working in the working world. So I would say probably the first 4 months of staying at home were the hardest as far as the transition there. And then it started getting better as Isabella got older. Obviously her personality developed, and there was a lot more kind of a one-to-one interaction between us. Not to say that there's not when they're a baby, but when they're a baby they're not talking, and it's kind of like, someone give me a PowerPoint presentation to do quick. So anyways, so that was one of the biggest transitions for me. And I know that for a lot of people, another big transition may be financial also. That may be a big consideration if you're thinking about becoming a stay-at-home mom. You really should sit down and look at your finances and look at the budget, and especially if you have been working full-time, really kind of analyze what it's going to do to your new budget after you would be staying at home, either working in part-time or not working in the working world at all. I guess I shouldn't say working world, professional world, whatever you want to say there, out in an office somewhere. So for us, luckily, from the entire time that we were married, just the way that we had decided to do it, we always made my husband's income the primary income, and we never counted my income, whether it was full-time, part-time, or nil. We never counted my income towards any sort of bills, any sort of, mortgages for houses, cars, anything like that. We never take my income into account, with the idea that down the line I was going to become a stay-at-home mom. And I actually would say that if you have the opportunity to do this, and I know for some people it may not be possible, but if at all possible, if you're getting married and you're thinking down the line that you're planning on becoming a stay-at-home mom, I absolutely would recommend doing this, because it gets you used to having that one income, and then it frees up the second income to do a lot of different things, whatever you would like to do with it. Save, invest, travel, buy lots of purses and shoes, whatever you want to do with it. It basically frees up that second income and then makes you more flexible once you do drop down to a single income. So that would be my big suggestion there. And then there are a lot of things. I'm in a number of stay-at-home mom groups, and there's a lot of information out there. If you're used to two incomes and you figured out that it probably is possible for you to stay at home, but you're going to be stretching it a little bit, there's a lot of resources out there for stay-at-home moms as far as budgeting, meal planning, and just overall trying to keep your expenses lower. If you're not working in a professional environment, obviously you're not going to have the expenses of suits and professional clothing, and you can make the majority of your meals at home. So one thing that we did make a concerted effort to do was to actually drop down the amount of money that we spend on food, because when we were single and going out to dinners and, like appetizers, food, desserts, whatever, like the whole meal a few times a week, that really adds up a lot. So once we sat down and looked at how much we were spending on different things, food category was actually one of the biggest categories that we were able to drop down the amount of money that we were spending to free up money to spend on baby items. And so then after you get through those two hurdles, I mean, honestly, the transition is probably different for everyone, but it really starts to come naturally, and now I can say 2 years into it, I really enjoy it. I mean, there's days, obviously, where the kids are stressing you out, and you're like, oh, I don't want to be here anymore, or you get bored some days, but overall, on a general whole, it's very pleasant, and it's nice to be able to see all those milestones and know basically what your kids are doing all day long. So it's very rewarding, and it is fulfilling, even though it's different than that project-oriented, goal-oriented world of the professional world. So I would say that there's a lot of different things to take into consideration if you are considering becoming a stay-at-home mom. But once you sit down and look at your finances and know that you can do it, and then you decide that the transition is for you as far as leaving a professional environment and going to being at home, once you get through those two hurdles, really the rest of it kind of takes care of itself, because you learn a lot as you're going along. I can definitely say I'm a lot more comfortable now with my second child than I was with my first, just figuring out along the way. So hopefully this has been helpful. Feel free to send me any questions that you guys have, because I know that for a lot of people, especially if you're kind of on the fence of figuring out what to do, it can be a really big question of whether or not to be a stay-at-home mom. So feel free to send me any questions you have, and I would be happy to answer them. Thanks so much, and have a great day.